Hi guys, my name is Monica and my channel is all about helping emerging bands get ahead in the music industry. So today we're going to be talking about the top 10 mistakes that emerging or young bands make at the start of their careers. Now, just a disclaimer, this is not meant to be a hateful video. These are just the top mistakes that I see young bands making every single day, and let me tell you right off the bat, I have made every single one of these mistakes myself. So let's get into it. Unless you have state-of-the-art equipment or extensive experience recording at home yourself, go get your stuff recorded professionally. I know so many bands that have tried to save money on production costs by, say, doing the guitars yourself or recording your vocals with a friend. It takes up way more time and energy than if you were just to go get everything recorded and mixed at the same place. Especially if you're doing the recording yourself and sending it off to get mixed, it's going to take the producer way more time because you haven't edited your tracks properly or things aren't really sounding the best that they can. The extra time and energy that it takes to record stuff yourself could honestly be better spent rehearsing, promoting, or working that second job that pays for it to be recorded professionally. Plus, you really can't beat the experience of a producer to get the best out of your takes and the best out of your songs. All in all, I think DIY could have cut it maybe 10, even 5 years ago, but in 2017, your tracks are going to sit alongside a bunch of other bands who have had their stuff recorded professionally. When you get CDs printed, you can often choose between getting it duplicated or getting it replicated. So duplication is of a lesser quality and replication is of a higher quality. A lot of bands make the mistake of opting for the higher quality because obviously you've spent all this time and money on the recording and writing process and you want the end result to be the best quality it can be. Unfortunately, there is usually a minimum order for the replicated version of, say, 500 CDs, and in this day and age, that is way too many. Obviously, it is nice to have that physical copy, and I think especially in the heavier genres, people still do like to have that physical representation of the music that they listen to, but please don't get more than 30 to 50 CDs printed. Otherwise, you're just going to have boxes and boxes of CDs lying around your house for like the next 10 years. Most of the time, people are going to be listening to your music via streaming services or on YouTube or something like that, and all of those platforms compress the crap out of your music anyway. This one is absolutely huge, and particularly for Australian bands. Gone are the days where you build an audience from continuously playing shows. Especially in Australia, our population is far too small and our cities are way too far apart to warrant constantly touring. Don't get me wrong, I think touring is one of the most freeing and gratifying things that a band can do. The people that you meet, the places that you see, the bond that you start to develop with your bandmates after spending 10 to 12 hours in a van with them, and the things that you learn. I do think young bands should go on tour just for the bonding aspect and the networking aspect, but you cannot be doing this constantly. There's nothing worse than spending like over $1,000 in van rental fees and petrol, traveling 10 to 12 hours after you've already broken down, only to get to a venue to play to 5 people and be paid $50. It's just not viable. Call it karma, law of attraction, whatever you want, but basically what you put out into the world is what you're going to get back. So if you're constantly going to local shows and supporting other local bands, they're going to come to your shows. If you're sharing new video clips on social media, then those bands are going to share your video clips on social media. Obviously, you shouldn't be doing these things to get stuff back in return. You should be doing it out of the goodness of your heart. Don't forget, it's not a competition. There's room for everyone, and supporting someone else won't take anything away from you. We're a visual society, and whether you like it or not, most of the time people are going to see you before they hear your music. Your image has to be a visual representation of your music. You wouldn't go to a job interview in pajamas. You need high quality band photos, and make sure that your video clips are also of high quality to put your best foot forward. Number 6. Okay, so we're past halfway now. Again, we live in a world where the main way of consuming music is by streaming. These services provide next to no royalty payments, especially in the beginning. Bands aren't making income from selling their music, at least in this point of time. Hopefully that changes in the future, but at this present moment, your music should be used for advertising your merch and advertising tickets to your shows, which are two income streams that do make money. I definitely don't recommend giving all your music away for free because it tends to devalue it, but don't be afraid to give away maybe one tune at the very start to get your music into the ears of potential followers. So So you spend all this time and money recording, you can't wait for the world to hear your stuff. You've been building and building to this moment, so you put your stuff out there and nobody knows you exist. And I see bands do this all the time. But once you release that music, it's out and there's absolutely nothing that you can do to take that back. A PR campaign for an album starts 1 to 2 months before that album's actual release. You need to give the media time to review it. You need to give people the opportunity to pre-order because that's going to help your single chart. You basically want to give this release as much of a chance as possible to get to as many people as possible. Okay, so number 8 is kind of a silly one, but particularly in the rock scene, there's a lot of bands out there, and I totally used to be one of them, that still thought it was the 80s and followed that business model. What I mean by that is A, there's a strong focus on playing shows, and B, there's an even stronger potentially focus on partying instead of working. Don't get me wrong, I'm totally down to party, but when your drummer is drunk and falling off his stool, it's a bit of a wasted opportunity. Now this is obviously a massive one for me because I am a professional social media manager, but I know that there is so much confusion regarding how often you should post on social media, what kind of content goes on every channel, because every channel is different and has a different purpose. So either bands are posting too much, they're not posting enough, or they're posting the wrong type of content on each channel, they're not sufficiently advertising their shows, or whatever the case may be. Tours, album releases, all this stuff is planned months in advance. There is no excuse not to have your content planned out and scheduled. Every single platform has a scheduling tool. Facebook has a scheduling tool. There are apps that you can download to schedule on Instagram. Especially in the beginning, because social media is so cheap, you want to take advantage of it as much as possible. I know bands that have sold out their very first show because they utilize social media properly. This is an absolutely huge topic, so if you guys want me to do a video just on social media management for musicians, please leave me a comment below and I will definitely make one for you. And finally, the very last mistake that I see bands make is not stopping to enjoy the ride. Whatever your end goal, if you got there straight away or 6 months to a year after you started your band, firstly, you wouldn't appreciate it, and secondly, it would be boring. I know it's really hard to do this because you get caught up, you have a lineup change, you think you should be way further ahead than what you actually are, but enjoy the ride. Be grateful for every single little or big opportunity that comes your way, and what will happen is you'll not only be happier, but you'll end up drawing more opportunities towards you. People want to work with others that are positive and are grateful, so be grateful and enjoy the ride because after all, you're doing it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you do like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out new videos every single week. If you agree or even if you disagree with any of the points that I've mentioned, please leave a comment below so we can keep the discussion going. And if you have any questions regarding anything that I've spoken about, please also leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Have a friggin' awesome day, guys, and I'll speak to you next time.